Hey everyone, and welcome to 121 in Flux. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we talk about movies on this show. And this episode, keeping in line with the rest of the month, we'll be doing sci-fi movies all January. And we're going to continue with that, and we're going to talk about a film called Alien Nation from 1988. And we're going to obviously start with this, no spoilers, start spoiler free, and then we'll warn you somewhere in the middle before we go into spoilers. This is a movie that is bizarrely similar to a movie that was released on Netflix not that long ago. We will probably make some comparisons to that as we go.
Yeah, I mean it's not too spoilery, even just to say that, because the kind of the premise of the movie itself.
Oh sure, yeah. I'm just saying. I want to describe the premise of this and then let people realize what I'm referring.
Which movie
yeah.
it is? Yeah,
yeah. So that's why I'm not specifically saying it right now, but yeah. So we'll start spoiler free. Give you warning before spoilers, and yeah. So as a science fiction film that came out in '88, it is set in the at the time not too distant future of 1991, which is bizarre and weird. Although we had a bit of a debate as to whether it was set in 91 or if the aliens landed in 91 and the movie's actually set later. My argument that I'm right and it's actually later is because at one point they go past a theater and Rambo 6 is playing, and if it's only 3 years, if it's all set in 1991, then that means
they pumped those out. Yeah,
yeah. There's been three Rambo movies in the space of about 2 years. So
that's fair.
That's my argument. I'm sticking to
it's
it.
It's actually because we went and checked because we weren't sure, because we'd had this discussion and
we're still not
it's
sure.
actually kind of unclear.
Yeah, I read it as the aliens landed in 1991, and then it's clear that there's been some time since because they've went through quarantine and they've integrated it into society. So I took that as okay, now we're a few years later, whereas you took it as no, they landed in '88 and now it's 1991.
Yes.
And either one works, although my Rambo 6...
No, the Rambo 6 is probably the biggest evidence to your argument.
Which, I don't know, mid-90s then maybe? I don't know. It doesn't really matter that much either way, but Rambo 6 is causing a kerfuffle. So the premise of the movie is the aliens have landed, they've integrated, they're immigrants, there's 250,000 roughly that came off this spaceship, which wasn't even meant to come to Earth. It kind of got lost and separated from its fleet, and it was a slave ship. Everyone on it was meant to be a slave, and they've all landed on Earth, and after going through in quarantine, they've been integrated into society, and we're now in a world where aliens make up a significant part of the population of LA, and presumably some of them have spread out as well, but that seems to be the epicenter of where most of the population of them are. And the main plot of the movie is that James Caan, of course, big famous actor, he's the lead role, he plays Sykes, and his partner gets killed just 2 days till retirement. I'm joking about that last part, but he does get killed. And he becomes the first cop to partner up with the first ever detective ranked alien, which they call as the newcomers. That's what they call the aliens, the newcomers. And he partners up with him, and he's not supposed to investigate his partner's death, but that's kind of what he ends up doing. So they work together to try and get information, and we know that it was a newcomer that directly killed him, but like he's working for someone else, and they're looking into it. So it's kind of a very typical buddy cop story once you actually get to the nitty gritty of the plot. Like, you know, there's this drug that's going around, and there's like this conspiracy going on. Who's in charge? That's the movie.
Yeah,
it plays like a very traditional buddy cop movie in that sense. But you've got all these extra things. Of course, race is definitely the analogy here is very clear. The opening scene, like there's racial comments made about the aliens, and that's very quickly clear.
And more directly as well, immigration. There's these aliens, they're much smarter, they advance quicker. They set up very early on, and it's clearly like, oh, they're coming in taking our jobs.
Yeah, they're in college level education by the time they're 10.
Yeah. And the guys in the fast food restaurant going, well, how can I compete with that? What's the point?
Yeah, that was one of the news clips you see at the start of the movie. Yeah, then some other fun things, like they get drunk on milk, so that's what they drink when they want to get drunk. It's various other things. And another big plot point, of course, is that salt water is like acid to them; it'll burn them. So that's another big plot point. So there's a few different things like that throughout the movie. You learn about them. They're almost just these funny little clips. Most of them are played for comedy more than anything else. They have these differences. Oh, they can't be reading the nuts, but they've got a weak spot under the arm, so you can hit them in there, and you get the same effect as kicking someone in the nuts. So that's like a plot point that comes up. So naturally, if you happen to see Bright on Netflix around Christmas, just before Christmas it went up, on Netflix's. Very similar plot. It wasn't aliens, of course. It was fantasy species. So you had your elves, your orcs, all that kind of thing. And it was a very same plot. It was Will Smith was partnered up with an orc, and that was the
the first orc in the position.
Yeah. So I'm actually, I'm going to call it Max Landis here, and be did you happen to watch Alien Nation before you wrote that script?
He definitely was like high one night and had this on in the background. I was like, I've got an idea. Orcs.
Yeah, I'll just change it to orcs, and then that's completely different. No one can argue anything. So yeah, the big difference being, it's funny because we never did a review of Bright. I was supposed to do one with Matt just after it came out, and it kept getting pushed back until eventually it'd been so long since we'd all watched it that it just kind of went away. But so interestingly, we'll get to talk about Bright a little bit, I think, as we're talking about this as well, because I think it begs the comparison quite heavily.
Yeah, and as well, something else. I know there was a TV show like adaptation of this a little bit later.
Quite quickly as well. I looked it up. It was
a year or two later.
1989. It ran for one season, I think.
Right, and I think it's funny because I am shocked we haven't got a Fox reboot of this yet. The cop with the twist. Oh wait, one's an alien, and there's a name for this that they can use. It just seems so. It's coming this year. We're getting the announcement.
Well, I mean, that's why they did the Minority Report. It was like they're partners, they're buddy cops, but one can see the future. That's Minority Report. That's why they made that show, and it trashed and burned, obviously. But yeah,
we're getting the announcement of this one this year.
So I'm shocked, especially since this is a Fox movie. Let's add that to the pile here. They own this already.
Exactly. It's just there, and it's just in the archives. Oh yeah, we'll have that.
Weird tip actually. This movie's anamorphic. It's your 2.481 shape, right? The Fox logo at the start is clearly cropped from 185. Yeah. You can tell the top and bottom's been cropped off, and I'm like, and this is not the first time I've seen something weird like this from Fox. I think it's the opening of Predator. Has the 4x3 Fox logo stretched to 1.85, and I'm like, why don't you just give the director the proper Fox?
Yeah,
the proper one for the movie they've made. Like if it's in 185,
you've got them lying around. These are common ratios that you have a pile of these.
And it's not even like at the time, like all movies were like this, because like Die Hard was like around the time, and I'm pretty sure that has the proper 2.41. It's almost like the day they were editing it, they couldn't find that reel, so they went, "Oh, just give us the other one, I'll crop it."
It is, isn't it?
I know, it's just bizarre.
It does look strange.
You're making this movie, which I imagine wasn't super low budget even at the time. Like, surely
money on makeup at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's the cheapest movie ever, get the goddamn ratio of your opening and logo right.
It sets a bad precedent, doesn't it? When you look at that and you go, "Oh boy, that's not good."
It's just weird. It made me think of Predator, because I remember way back when I had time to listen to commentary tracks. I remember the director John McTiernan on Predator's commentary track. Like the first thing he talks about is, "Oh, they wouldn't give me the anamorphic Fox logo for some reason, so here's the stretched one." And I'm like, he's bitter about this. He recorded that commentary like 20 years after the fact, and he is bitter about this still.
Yeah. He definitely pissed someone off.
And you think?
Yeah, screw it. You're gonna have this one, and you're gonna make do.
Well, now Disney are buying Fox, maybe Disney will get them in and say, "Hey, do you want to do the director's cut?" Well, the only difference is that the Fox logo has been reformatted to the right size.
I'd buy it. Show support for that.
Fair enough. Actually, as much as I'm joking about that, I actually hate when they put on the new version of one of the logos, when they take the old one off and replace it with the current version.
Oh yeah, no, I hate that.
It takes me out of it. It doesn't look like it fits the movie. Keep the of the time logo. So if it's Universal, keep the mid '90s one if it's a mid '90s movie. Keep the '80s one if it's an '80s movie, and so on.
They usually do though, don't they?
They usually do. There was a small period on DVD where I feel like they were cutting them out and putting in the new ones just for. Because
new DVDs, new technology. Yeah. People are going to be rebuying the movies. Let's make it seem like this is all fresh.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I remember Warner Bros did it a little bit. You get the newer one where you see the studios and you'd see the sort of the wave and then it comes down. Like I remember seeing that at like the start of like Dog Day Afternoon, and I'm like, no, this in the '70s did not have this logo. Piss off. Like and the Blu-ray may still be like that. I don't know. That was a weird tangent to go on, but movie logos.
Yeah, they did it to us.
They did. It's just something that sticks out when you start the movie. So It's worth mentioning. So that's the premise of the movie. So before we move on, I'll ask the question. Connor, did you enjoy Alien Nation? Which, by the way, is a pretty cool title. Before we get to anything else, it's a nice title.
It's a very cool title. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think it suffers from just being a buddy cop movie for most of it. I feel like the interesting things with the aliens, the actual commentary, kind of gets abandoned quite quickly.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I like James Caan. I like the main alien dude, Francisco. Terence Stamp plays the villain, because obviously I didn't recognize him because he's got so much makeup on.
You just hear his voice.
But I heard his voice. I'm like, that voice sounds familiar. Who is that? I took a couple more sentences and I'm like, it's Terence Stamp.
Yeah.
And like, so it's a good cast. Also in it, by the way, remember when they go to the bar at one point to question the dude?
Yeah.
They trying to hit him in the balls scene, and
the
big
dude.
Yeah, he's Brian Thompson, who's played 2 different roles on the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh god, I thought I'd get away with it this one.
Nope. As soon as I saw him, I went, "Oh, there's my Buffy reference." He's there.
Stop looking.
He played the judge, and he also played I can't remember his name, but there's a vampire in the first 2 episodes. So he was in season 1 and 2 of Buffy.
Oh, okay.
Different characters. He was blue in the second season. The first season was the vampire.
I don't recall the judge off the top of my head, but
rocket launcher.
Oh, okay.
There you go. That nailed it for you.
I'm with you.
Yeah. But so he's in this. He was because I think he was the main bad guy in the Stallone movie Cobra, which was around this time. So he get cast as the big, beefy bad guy.
The big muscly dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of his thing. He late 80s, early 90s. That was his shtick. But yeah, so no, I agree. I think it's just okay, mainly because the actual plot, once it gets going, isn't that interesting. It's just a very typical buddy cop story.
Yeah.
And I think them going around questioning people. It's also very short. It's 90 minutes long, and I do feel like it kind of like gets to its third act really quickly. Like I was expecting more development before it got to the let's chase down the bad guy. And
yeah. Actually, we're in a 15-minute chase sequence for the ending. Okay, cool.
And the chase sequence was fine. Like I thought it was well shot. That there was like good, like it was exciting. Because some car chases, I think, there's no such thing as a good or bad car chase necessarily. It's just good or bad. Like the shooting of it is good or bad. The car chase itself theoretically can always be interesting. It's just like because you can make something really simple where it is just swerving left to right through traffic, and that can be exhilarating in the right hands of the right directors.
Oh, you could do a drag race, where two cars just next to each other going in a straight line.
Yeah,
you can make that look good,
and that can be exciting. And I think the shooting here actually made it quite a exciting chase. They're on the motorway at one point, and then cars jumping. It's a good chase. But the actual plot is just kind of like, okay, someone's selling this drug. Who's the bad guy? He's the bad guy. Because they do that whole thing with the bad guy where they meet him early on in the movie, and he's kind of like pompous, and he's pretending to be like, he cares about the community. He's kind of almost the Lex Luthor style of bad guy, he cares about the community, and he's got this public persona. And the next time they see him, they already know he's the bad guy, and it's like shootout time. Like there's not like multiple times where he gets more sinister. They get to know him a little bit and grow suspicious. Yeah. It's just instantly, no, he's the bad guy.
Yeah, no, that's true. And like I say, like all the actual things you learn about the aliens, most of them are played for comedy.
Yeah.
There's not much that where we get to the racial tensions, the immigration stuff. It kind of gets abandoned in favor of just okay, we're on the buddy cop plot now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of disappointing, because it kind of wastes some of the stuff that makes it unique.
Yeah, I think the opening 20-30 minutes are the strongest of the movie.
I agree with that, yeah.
Introducing everything. I really like that James Caan character Sykes. He actually makes the choice. Like, because the captain comes out and asks for volunteers. He doesn't get saddled with them. He makes the choice to go in.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of like that. It's even though he's maybe doing it for not necessarily the most genuine reasons, it does make it for a nice moment where he actually has the idea and says, no, I'm going to go do this.
Yeah, no, it's not bad.
Yeah. So yeah, overall it's okay. Unfortunately, maybe it whiffs its idea. That said, I would still rank it higher than Bright. And
it's on a similar level for me. I think.
I think this suffers from playing it too safe once it gets going. I think Bright is the complete opposite, where it's just on acid and doesn't know what it wants to be, and it's a complete mess as a result.
See, I don't think I can argue with that, but I had more fun watching Bright.
Bright's just a more stupid movie, though. I don't care what they say. You're chasing a magic wand. Like, Nothing about that's going to ever sound good to me, right?
It sounds good to me.
Yeah, but you're a weirdo Harry Potter fanfic writer. So
I have never written fanfic in my life. Thank you very much. I take offence at that.
Yes, you have.
I can't write.
Connor is playing coy here because I happen to know that he has rewritten the entire series of Harry Potter, except that Ron Weasley is the hero.
I knew where you're going. No, there was two options. It was either going to be this is my version of what the woman did with 50 Shades of Grey, from Twilight. It was going to go that angle, the fanfic, or you were going to go the Ron Weasley one. I weren't sure which one, but I knew it was one of them.
Ron Weasley enters the scene with his dazzling ginger hair. Every lady in the room turns, even half the men. They're all in awe of the amber glory. They're all not sure if to go or start. It's not green, it's not red. Do they start going or not? They don't know. That's the beauty of the ginger. It's so ambiguous.
I can't believe you just turned Ron Weasley into traffic lights. That kind of got away from you a little bit there.
I'm proud of every bit of that story. I'm proud of every bit of it.
Well, someone's got to be proud.
And then Ron Weasley puts on the sorting hat, and the hat simply says, I don't know. I can't comprehend. He's better than all four of them. He's the best. He's the best there is.
Oh boy.
He is House Ginger.
I don't think you understand how Harry Potter works, do you?
Understand's a weird word to use, but I don't care. I mean,
yeah.
I get it. You get the four houses, and depending on your personality, it puts you in the right one for which one you align with. It's almost like if D&D had 4 alignments instead of 9, and and it was like picking which one your character fit into.
Sure. Well, it's a bit more complicated than that, but sure.
No, that's the thing with magic. Nothing's ever complicated. It's easy writing. You just put the hat on and say, "Oh, it's a magic hat." It picks which one they go to.
Well, it doesn't. That's the point.
What does it do then?
Well, no, it tells you which one they want to go into. They so it's like that was the whole big thing with Harry Potter. He's like, no, I don't want to go in Slytherin, so it doesn't put him in Slytherin.
But why is he worried? Why don't we put him in then?
Because there's prejudices.
Prejudice? Who's prejudice?
Other people. They're like Slytherin. That's like, oh, that's the evil house to a bunch of them. So he's been told that, and he's like, oh, I don't want to go there.
But if the hat's just putting you in the one that you want to go in, then why is he worried about why don't we put him in? If he wants to go in
Because he doesn't know that yet.
Gryffindor, that's the one.
He doesn't. They're not told that's how it works at that point.
Okay. When did they find that out?
He finds out in the second film.
Right. All the thing I remember about the second film, there's a giant snake at one point, right?
There is. That's the one.
Right. That's all I remember about the second one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, actually, no. There's 2 things. There's a flying car at the start. Flying car
right.
and a giant snake at the end. That's all I remember.
Giant spider in the middle.
I don't remember that. That's all I remember about Chamber of Secrets.
One day we're doing the Harry Potter movies.
Oh no, that's 8 movies. You can't do that to me.
I feel like we've got a Fantastic Beasts movie coming up at the end of the year.
Oh god. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I think you and Matt should just review that, and I can sit it out. Well, I don't know what me watching it offers anyone.
Oh, an outsider's perspective. Maybe an unbiased view.
I don't know if it's unbiased. I have bias. it's just not the positive bias.
That's true.
I wasn't actually that harsh in the last one, to be fair. It was okay. Like the Harry Potter movies, it was okay. I never want to watch it again, but it was fine. I don't regret watching it.
Ironically, that's kind of how I feel about Alien Nation.
Oh, look at you swinging it back round on the topic. Oh, that was that was slick.
Professional.
That was slick.
It was. We ruined it all, but that was the best swing around we've had in a while.
Go on, then. What are you gonna say about it?
No, just it's okay. It's perfectly solid at what it's doing, but it doesn't go above and beyond with its premise. It just plays it so safe that I don't regret watching it, but I don't feel like I ever need to see it again.
And I think James Caan elevates it. I think if we had someone else, it wouldn't be as watchable as it is. But I say it plays it safe. It does play it completely safe, right down to the final 10 minutes, which it goes in a really obvious direction to do with the end of this movie that I thought, okay, this is just kind of dull. You went this route that you know.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that a bit more in spoilers, I think. I mean, as for anything else, like spoiler free wise,
I thought the score was kind of just generic.
I didn't even notice it, so that sounds
there was
right.
a few times I was like, okay, what's the score doing here? So I stopped and had a listen. I'm like, okay, it's fine, it's serviceable, but it's just kind of there.
It's funny because I feel like I almost can't blame Max Landis if he did kind of get the idea from this. I can't necessarily blame him too much because this movie doesn't really go full hog with it. Max Landis, of course, his movie.
He took the idea and then ran with it, and then
kept running
off a cliff.
Kept running. That's it. I don't want to completely blame him. I think David Ayer's also worth some blame.
I
mean, I've really discovered something here is that I really don't like David Ayer movies that much. End of Watch was okay from memory. I don't know if I'd watch it again. I didn't like Fury. I didn't like Suicide Squad. And then
I didn't like Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that are well documented already.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, to be first, I don't think he's the main problem with Suicide Squad necessarily, because obviously it was edited to shit when there was studio influence and whatnot. But I think Bright really hit my... I really came to discover that I just don't like his characters, for the most part. I don't like the overly macho assholes that he seems to have in his movies.
I mean, at least you can look forward to Bright 2, where Landis isn't involved and Ayer's writing the script. So you get full Ayer.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
I don't know, actually. I'm kind of intrigued to find out.
I don't know. Do you know the sad part about Bright is? I actually, as much as I don't like the Magic Wand bullshit, I kind of like the setup where it's all in one night and the cop and the orc have to work together to protect this person that all the bad guys want. That plot for me is a simple action movie plot that could totally work. And there's one or two cool fight scenes. There's one in I think the gas station has a cool little fight scene with the bad guys. But other than that, it's just a lot of every time they encountered that gang and they had a shootout, I was like, this is boring as shit. Why am I watching this crap? Like, you know, like, oh, you had a shootout in a strip club and then a shootout in a casino. They're the exact same shootouts, but no, they're in a different location, so I'm supposed to feel like it's any better than the last one.
You know, what's funny is I said, I thought, I'm surprised this hasn't been, redone as a TV show again by Fox. I feel like Bright should be a TV show. Like, it just plays like, okay, no, we had the movie to set up. No, we're not doing Bright 2, we're just doing the TV show next.
Funnily enough, I actually kind of feel this, and then obviously it went on to be a TV show, but as I was watching this, I kind of feel like this feels like a pilot to a TV show.
It does.
It feels like the dull plot you get in a pilot, but all the interesting stuff's still there to be done. Like, all the stuff that you really cook with for the rest of the seasons. I don't know if the show's any good, necessarily. It's got a 6.8 on IMDb, which does not sound...
It's not awful on IMDb.
I mean, it's 0.5 higher than the movie, so, I mean,
Yeah.
Maybe it's better. I can't say. Yeah. Do we do spoilers? Do we jump into spoilers?
Yeah, I guess we do. Although, honestly, not that much to spoil.
There isn't.
It's a buddy cop movie.
It's a buddy cop movie. They want revenge. They bond a little bit about halfway through the movie. One will still getting drunk. Obviously, Caan drinking booze. Alien drinking milk.
Gone off milk.
Yeah, it's sour milk specifically that they enjoy.
Yeah. It's all gunky and it's like, oh, that is disgusting.
And
see, these are the things where it just plays them for laughs, but it's a nice moment again, for the world building, but doesn't really do anything. Yeah,
they also eat all the meat raw because for them all the useful stuff in the meat goes away when you cook it. So they
to be fair, most of it does for us as well.
Yeah, but we don't like raw meat typically.
No, we don't.
No.
We get that horrible thing called food poisoning.
Yeah. Which is why we don't eat raw meat typically.
Yeah. Don't do it, folks. Don't cook that chicken.
Cook the chicken.
I mean, keep your steak as raw as you want. That's fine. Give it 30 seconds either side, but cook your chicken.
Oh God, 30-second steak. I'm sorry. I can't eat meat. That's that. No. I don't. I mean, at that point, I might as well be looking in the cow's eyes as I'm eating it. Like,
I'm fine with that.
No. Far removed for me, please. But I saw what someone on social media saying they wanted to try raw chicken, and I'm like, don't try it. It's not a good idea.
No, just don't do that.
They were clearly stupid and didn't understand that you couldn't have chicken raw. Like, you know, chicken's not like steak. You don't have a preference. You don't say, oh, I want it well done, or
no, chicken. You cook it through, and that's that.
Yeah, you cook it. It's chicken, right? To be fair, most meat you cook it.
Yeah. Beef's like the exception, and even then, it has to be, you know, like a cut of beef. You can't do it with mince because of the way the bacteria works. Pork, lamb, you can do a bit rare.
I still wouldn't, but yeah, you can.
Yeah, I mean, I typically do my lamb more medium than, you know, well done, but yeah.
Some people like their burgers rare.
I like my burgers medium.
I like a nice crust in my burger, you know, a nice crusty.
No, I get it.
Edge. It's nice. We're talking about food. I think it's clear that this movie itself is not that interesting because we keep tangenting to other things. It's funny. I wanted this to be really. Obviously, I want any movie I watch to be good. I like James Caan. I like the idea, but I wanted this to be really good so I can come in and say how good it was and shit on Bright. And instead, I'm coming in and I'm like, well, it's kind of okay, but it's a bit better than Bright, which was, you know, really bad. So I mean, it's the thing. Ending of Bright was stupid as well, for the record. I was not. It's such a generic ending to that goddamn movie.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
You know what? Give Alienation credit. It does not get murky with what it's saying about race. It may not be saying much.
It doesn't, but because it never gets into saying anything really.
But is that better or worse than Bright, which says so many things, some of them which contradict each other, and you're just sort of lying there going, I don't understand what I'm supposed to be getting from this movie. What's it saying about race relations? I don't know.
It's a fair point. Bright is all over the damn place. This goes, hey, this is what it's about. It's about immigration, you know, and racism, and then that's fine. That doesn't matter now.
And over the course of the movie, Caan learns to accept them.
He becomes more accepting, sure. But
because
we don't see it in a wider community.
Yeah, there's a scene where the other cops are still being shit to him, and he throws their keys in the water, and he's like, go detect that, you assholes. Like, you know, he sticks up for him, and then he brings him to his daughter's wedding at the end of the movie, which is obviously he's going to go to his daughter's wedding at the end, and he's been avoiding it all movie. Which would have been nice if we'd ever met her before that scene to actually really care.
Well, we heard a voice on the phone once. Well, we
did.
The recording.
That's why I'm saying it felt like a pilot. It felt like there was so many things that felt like, oh, we'll get that in episode 2. And there wasn't an episode 2.
With the TV show that was, you know, it was that soon after. Do you think he planned it as, do you know what? No, let's just jump off from this?
Well, it's a different cast, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was planned necessarily to go straight into a TV show, but certainly someone watched the movie and went, hey, that's a good pilot. We should make a show.
Go for it. Yeah.
And they had one season out of it. But hey. But I will say this, though, about Bright's confusing racial statements, is that it sets up how confusing it is right at the start of the movie when Will Smith has that awful line about the fairy.
Yeah, no.
When he says fairy lives don't matter today, and I'm like, what am I supposed to get from that statement? I don't understand what the point of that line is. And to be fair, that's how you feel about most of the stuff it's doing throughout most of the movie. So I can't say it didn't set you up with
No, this everything you're saying is true. But I had fun watching that movie. This movie is technically better in the fact that it knows what it's doing. But it's not as interesting to watch.
I guess.
I mean, for me, they're kind of pretty even, for different reasons, of course.
Yeah. We'll be left out plot-wise. So there's this drug that apparently they're all designed to really like because they're slaves, and that's what the reward would be when they're working for their species. Yeah. I say species, they're engineered, so maybe the actual parent species is actually different.
I assumed it was.
Yeah, but so there's the bad guy, Terence Stamp. He's actually continuing to make it, and he's putting it out so that they'll have to pay him for the drug. He's really seizing the opportunity. He's kind of your analogy for the criminal element of an immigrant society.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, they almost touch on something when Francisco, or main alien, he makes James Caan promise, hey, don't bring any other cops in this, because if they see what we can turn into when we're on this stuff, it'll change how everyone sees us, and we'll all be treated differently.
Yeah, no, like I said, they touch on it, and then he just goes, yeah, sure.
I mean, I said almost. I didn't say it, but you can see.
That's the thing. It's like there's great ideas in there that you could touch on. You could go down this route. Like they bring that up, and then He just goes, "Yeah, sure," and then I don't think it's really ever mentioned again.
No, that's true. I mean, obviously, once the AOD's in the drug, the bad guy, which is 15 minutes before the end, so there's going to be like some sort of surprise. Oh, it's going to do something to him, and sure enough, it turns him into an uber alien where he's like monstrous, and I'm like, okay, we're really like. I feel like the themes that the movie's try to tackle, it feels weird to do this with the ending where he's a monster now.
This just feels like, hey, look, drugs are really destructive. But
oh yeah, you can look at it that way.
It's really just easy.
Yeah. It takes the easy path towards the end.
Yeah.
That said, it's an easy path that works, unlike Bright, in which it doesn't work at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
I never give a spoiler warning for Bright, so I'll stay away from specific.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, that's fair.
So I'll just say there's a revelation in Bright towards the end that really made me roll my eyes.
I know the exact one you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Because it's the only one that it could be.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, this never does that.
Also, it wastes. I mean, I also like this as a good cast, but it completely wastes Nomura Peachy.
It does, yeah.
She is completely wasted in that movie. And Will Smith, I think, is miscast because he's just Will Smith. Do you know what I mean by that? He's just playing Will Smith.
He is, but to me, that was part of the appeal. It's like I have fun with Will Smith doing Will Smith.
Oh, I like Will Smith. I like Will Smith doing Will Smith. It just didn't fit with the serious themed movie that he was in. Like, he was cracking. Like, he was in Bad Boys 3.
He was. That was the best part of the movie for me. That was why I got the fun factor out of it.
The best part was easily Joel Edgerton. He was easily the.
Yeah.
Like, he was really getting into his alien role. It was working, and.
No, orc, not alien.
Oh, orc, sorry. Funnily enough, though, the makeup for the orc in that wasn't that different from the makeup for the aliens in this.
Pretty similar, isn't it?
Yeah. It's bald. They've got the
slightly bulgy head.
Yeah, but a bit bulgy, maybe a bit of a texture on it. A bit of a skin pattern.
Bit of a pattern. Yeah. It's not far off. I mean, the orcs have teeth.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, they've got like tusks of teeth.
Yeah,
obviously, these aliens have teeth as well. They're just in the mouths.
Where you typically find teeth.
No, exactly. That's why I didn't mention it. Whereas the orcs, they had tusks, extras, spares, you might say.
You really had me thinking, like, do they not have teeth in this? I'm pretty sure they had teeth.
They had like the big fangy tusks, didn't they, the orcs?
Aye, sure, but I mean, the aliens still have teeth.
They do. I phrased it poorly by just saying teeth. I agree. But they were a defining feature of the orcs with the teeth. So it's like, oh yeah, they don't have those teeth.
Sure. Obviously, like, there's some running jokes that are quite fun. Like, all their like human names are all like, just like, they get named after famous people. So they all have like, like, I think at one point Caan mentions that he's arrested a Humphrey Bogart and so on.
They kind of got bored with naming however many they had to name.
Yeah. So it started becoming a fun thing. And then there's a whole thing where Sykes' name in their language means shithead.
Yeah.
So they have a couple of fun bits of that. There was a lot of things where it's set up that I thought we were going to get more of. Like, they set up this like sex alien who they go to interview at one point, and I thought, okay, she flirts with Sykes a little bit, or maybe we'll come back to that. There'll be more to that. And then ultimately, she just gets angry when she finds out her boyfriend's been killed, and she goes out guns blazing, and like, that's it.
Yeah. Another thing is that often the aliens will talk in their own language to each other, and I thought that was going to come up in a bit of a like a major way. It doesn't really.
Nah.
Again, it's one of those things that, okay, it's nice for the world building of it, but it's just so many ideas that don't do anything.
No. I will say I like how silly and ridiculously big the handgun is that Sykes is using for the majority of the film. It's got a scope on it.
Yeah, it's got the special bullets that just go straight through the bulletproof vest.
Yeah, armor-piercing rounds. It only has 5 rounds in the chamber because the bullets are too big. They can't fit 6.
Yeah, they show it on the shotgun to begin with, and it goes through a car.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, his partner gets killed while he's in cover. Like, you see the bullets coming. Because, like I say, I thought the opening 20-30 minutes when it was setting everything up was probably the best stuff. And this gunfight was quite good because, like, he's behind the car and you see like the bullets start coming through the car and the holes are appearing and he keeps like edging back and back, and eventually, like, now they're going to.
Yeah, and they question it, going, "Oh, what the hell was special about this shotgun that got him?" Is like, nothing, but it just had these huge ass bullets.
Yeah, it's the rounds. It's the rounds. It's not the gun. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think it's full of a lot of really neat little ideas. There's a lot of neat little ideas throughout the movie. It's just as a whole, it's just a very typical standard buddy cop movie where the two partners don't like each other at first, and by the end, I mean, even the way Francisco's kind of like happy to be his partner, and Caan isn't happy that he's his partner, is very similar to Bright. It's a very similar character dynamic where he's like, he wants to prove himself, and he's like, all by the book, and James Caan's like, no, we're gonna go off book because I'm a road cop, and like, you know, just it's actually kind of scary how many similarities there are between the two movies.
I'm shocked no one called Landis out on this, but you know, I mean, maybe they did. I didn't see anyone mention this movie, but it feels like they should have done.
Yeah. So, no, the final fight's like Caan like runs the monster version of the bad guy into the water, the salt water, which he knows is going to hurt him, and then Francisco has to like hurt his own hand by pulling him out of the water to save him. That's fine. This is a fine moment.
Again, it's a nice enough moment, but it just feels like, yep, okay, this is what you do at this movie.
It felt like there was like just scenes missing to make us really ramp up to this moment. It felt like we got to the third act really quickly.
It did, yeah.
So it kind of robs it of being more than just a sort of... I think for like Sunday afternoon, you want a movie on while you're doing some cooking or something like that, this is the perfect thing to have on. It's an easy watch in that regard.
Yeah.
But it's nothing that I'll probably ever come back to and would recommend for anything bigger.
No, I think the only time I'd watch it again is, you know, with a group of friends, maybe, if it's just on.
Yeah. It's a inoffensive, decent buddy cop movie with a couple of ideas that are kind of cool, but but also it's not a good enough buddy cop movie to say rival an actual good buddy cop. Like, you know, like the plot here isn't all that dissimilar to say something like Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon's a much better movie than this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, but it has a very similar kind of vibe to getting to the bad guy. Who is the bad guy? Who's running these drugs and stuff?
There's so many buddy cop movies and now buddy cop TV shows that you can spend your time on a better one.
Yeah, pretty much. Which reminds me, Shane Black's got a Predator movie coming out this year. I can't wait. Don't worry, Connor's never seen any Predator movies, and we will be doing all of them. And I mean all of them before.
Yeah, the good and the bad. Good
and the bad, because we did all the Alien movies for Alien Covenant. We left AVP so that Predator would have 5 movies as well, because it's split up more evenly that way. So we're going to have all 3 Predator movies and both AVP movies before Predator comes out. So that's exciting.
That'll be a little bit later in the year, right?
I believe that comes out in August. So we'll probably... I mean, I don't want to do them all back to back, so we'll probably start doing them in like June,
June,
maybe in April at push. But we'll see. I'll look at the schedule.
Well, yeah, we'll figure it out.
See how
we don't want them to clump up all in, 6 in a row, 5 in a row, even.
Yeah. Where are you getting 6 from?
I was counting the new one.
Okay. But I am looking forward to Predator. But just because we mentioned Lethal Weapon and Shane Black wrote that.
There's a solid link.
There's a link. And I hope it's set at Christmas, because it's a Shane Black movie, and Shane Black movies should be set at Christmas. That's the rule.
No, can't argue with that. It's a solid rule.
Is there anything else you want to say about this?
I really don't.
It's so straightforward.
I feel like we've spent like a third of this time talking about the movie itself.
Yeah,
it's kind of so standard. There's not that much to say.
There's little details they mention, like they have 2 hearts, and unless you shoot both hearts, it'll just annoy them. So they make a point of saying they're really tough because they'll only go down if you actually take out their hearts. Yeah. And it never really... I mean, I guess it's there to make them feel intimidating, but it never really comes up.
Well, that's because it doesn't defeat him by shooting both the hearts, so it was kind of useless information.
Well, this is the thing. The only one he kills by shooting both hearts, he's already done at this point in the movie when we find this out. Because we just see him shoot the alien at the start of the movie that he chases down, and we think, oh, he just shot him a couple of times, so that killed him. But then later on, in the autopsy room, we find out, no, you killed him because you happened to hit both hearts, you were lucky.
Yeah, so I was waiting for him to go, okay, at some point, him knowing he has to hit both hearts to take this thing down, and then, because he goes into the building to go after, stamp at the end, and it's like, no, he's got his gun out, and then he just takes the drug.
Yeah, the alien takes the drug, the bad guy takes the drug, and then it looks like he ODs for a little bit, you think he's dead, and then it turns into a bit of a monster movie when he's all souped up. And that's basically it. And Even the whole thing where you know as soon as they introduce the whole his daughter's getting married and his ex-wife and her husband are paying for it all. He feels he's struggling with bills. He feels like a bit of a deadbeat. He doesn't want to go to the wedding, but his daughter wants him to go. You know, by the end of the movie, he's going to decide to go because it's the obvious character progression to do. But there's never really much in it that really you never really get like Francisco try to say to him, "Hey, you should go" or anything like that. Which is, at the end of the final fight, it just cuts to the wedding day and he's there putting his bow tie on. I just like, okay,
no, that's it. I mean, even the gun that his pistol that shoots huge bullets. We have that scene of it showing us in the firing range. It's never really used again in that style.
Well, I know what you mean, but I'll just make that clearer. What you mean is they make a point of showing us that it can go through bulletproof vests, it can go through armor. They make a point of showing us that, and then he uses the gun quite a lot throughout the movie, but it's never used with anyone wearing armor. It's never used with anyone like behind cover. It's just used like a regular gun,
as any other gun.
Yeah,
and we know other guns still kill the aliens because he killed one.
Yeah, so the actual specific skill that this gun has with its ammo is never actually used in the field.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things set up. There's a lot of Chekhov guns that are just forgotten about, and just
It's in that sense, it's kind of a mess. When you consider just how much there is, that's just kind of forgotten.
That's fair.
It's not a mess at its core, but with the extraneous details.
It plays everything straight and safe enough that it doesn't feel like it's almost too mundane and normal. But
I want to see you shoot something through cover. I want to see you blow someone's head off with this gun.
Yeah, or I want to see the alien language come into play. I want to see the fact that I don't know what else they set up, but they set up various things.
Get someone drunk on milk to get some answers out of them.
Yeah. The one thing they set up and pay off is the weak spot, because James Caan does hit someone there and it puts them down. And he's like, oh, it works. That's the one thing that really pays off. So yeah, unfortunately, it's only okay. I don't think it's bad though. I think it's just a little bit above average and a decent enough watch. You've got some good casts that kind of elevate it, and you've got some fun ideas. But that's kind of where it's like high points kind of end. So with that, I guess I'll ask you what you rate the movie out of 10.
A 6, just a bit above average.
Yeah, no, I agree. 6 out of 10, I think is what I'd give it to. I mean, it's not bad. It's not mediocre either. It's just enough to be an okay watch, and that's okay.
Yeah, sometimes that's all you want.
But disappointing in the larger sense, where you're kind of hoping it's going to really explore everything it's setting up, and it doesn't. It just plays it really straight and safe. As I said, I said it plays it safe like 20 times at this point.
It's frustrating in that sense because you can see so much more from it. So sometimes you'll watch a movie, you go, that was a 6 out of 10, but it's like, okay, I wasn't expecting much from it. Whereas here, there's so much more it could do that it's just not. Whereas
Bright is a lot more frustrating because it's just a complete and utter chaotic mess, but not a funny mess. It's not like watching The Room. It's not like you're watching it and you're laughing at how weird and bizarre it is. You're constantly sitting there going, why? Why are we doing this? What?
I mean, you're sitting there doing that. I'm going, oh hey, this is fun. Oh hey, this is something completely different, but I'm still having fun. Oh hey, this doesn't really make sense, but okay, this bit's not as fun. 2 out of 3.
Bright sucked. To sum it up, whenever they review a Bright, this is kind of.
What did you score Bright?
This is doubled. I think I gave it a 4.
I think I gave that a 6.5.
I can't get on board with that rating. I can't get on board.
I think yours is a bit too low, but hey, what can I say?
Coming from the writer of 8. Well, 7 if you're basing it on the books, but as far as in my head, you've rewritten the scripts for the movies where Ron Weasley is the hero and Harry Potter is nothing but his loyal little friend who brings him his wand when he needs it.
Yeah, I bet I made Harry Potter a Scottish prick as well, didn't I?
He's like, Harry, hand me my wand. He's like, yes, Ron, sir. And he hands him his wand. He's like, right, make sure my wand is good and ready for my use, Harry. And that's what he's done. And then more homoerotic stuff. I'm trying to make this as homoerotic as possible.
Yeah. You were less subtle than Bright.
I don't think that's true. That's the sad part about that. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I don't know if it is either.
That's not true.
I'm not sure I can stick to that sentence.
Yeah, no. So no, I can't get behind that. So
there you go. We reviewed Alien Nation and Bright on this episode.
Essentially,
you got a double bill.
Essentially, it became a review of both movies. So that is that is Alien Nation and I guess Bright. So let us know what you think of both movies in the comments. Like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fudge for channel updates. If you want to support the channel and the show, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You can get a link to that in the description. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching movies, and we'll see you next time.